Hey, what's up, yo? We're back at it again. Another episode of the Gratitude Series. In this video, we're going to talk about the importance of collaboration, and how can it help you move your career forward or in whatever you're doing. Importance of collaboration. This is a question that was hosted by Janky. So, Janky, shout out to you. Thank you for posting the question on here. If you got questions you want answered, post them in the comments below. Subscribe, like, do the drill. If they're first time here, I don't know if this is your first time here, but if it is, welcome, and I hope you stay because there's a lot of content on this channel, and who knows what I'll put up on here. Anyway, shout out to Janky. Her comment reads, how important is collaborating with other musicians, and what suggestions do you have for introverts? So that's a two-part question. So we're going to do the majority, probably 75% on the first part, and then 25% on the second part. So let's talk about collaboration. Collaboration is a very important thing, and I think it's something that everybody should do because it can do a few things. It can help you, in my case, get a placement. It can help you make beat sales. It can help you get songs done. It can get you in the doors that you wouldn't get on your own. It could get you in the gigs. It definitely can make the workload easier, but then on the inverse side, it can make the workload harder. So we'll get into that. So let me just tell you a little bit about how I got my first placement through collaboration. So when I was in school at Full Sail, I was working with these artists, a couple of young guys, and I was actually reluctant to work with them because I was still kind of getting my feet wet, getting used to this new atmosphere. And but eventually I was like, all right, let's make some songs. So we did, and what happened is that collection of work got in somebody else's hands that they knew, and then I got connected with them. And then I sent them a beat CD, and this person so happened to know Crazy Bone. And then next thing you know, we got this placement right here, which was on this project right there. And it says Delio right there. I don't know if you can see it. There's Delio right there in the middle of the screen. Boom. So that came from collaboration, and for instance, like I worked with other local producers who are further ahead along the game on the online beat selling market, got banging YouTube channels, and I did some collaborations with them and got put on as far as part of the plan for that track. And so I was added as a collaborator on BeatStars, and because he was a more popular producer than me, he generated more sales, and because I was a collaborator on that and I had a percentage of that sale, I definitely gained profit from that sale from being with that. And there's also a good thing when you work with musicians and stuff like that. I can think about doing a Magic Box album and featuring certain musicians that added a whole new flavor to the music that I wouldn't do on my own. So collaboration is very important, and even me just thinking about it right now, it's a very important thing. And but there's also a flip side to it because I try to collab with a lot of people, and what happened over the years a lot of times, and it really turned me off because there's like, yeah, let's collab, but there's really no direction in the collab. And so it's like, well, what are we doing here? And if you're a really talented person and you do a lot of different things, you can end up being the person doing 90% of the work. Because I could tell you, there's been so many times where I run to people, yo, let's collab, let's work, let's collab, let's work. And here's the thing, like a lot of people say, let's collab and let's work without a game plan, without a goal. Like, what are we trying to do here? Are we just collabing just to have fun? What is the goal here? And sometimes that's enough for people. Sometimes that's enough for people to just collab, not really have any purpose for it, and boom, you're done. And I've been through that phase, but now for me, I prefer collabing with a purpose. Don't just reach out to me and say, let's collab and let's work, and you don't even have an idea of what you want to do. You're just sort of saying, yeah, let's do it. And even if I initiate the collaboration, I typically try to take time to think it out, try to plan out, what am I doing here? What am I going to provide? What am I going to expect from them? What's the end goal? Start it with the finish in mind, because if you can't finish what you're starting, then you're in big trouble, and you'll just kind of have all this energy expended into something. I can think of something right now very close to me where one person wanted to use the other person's resources, and they didn't have the end game in mind. And so what happens is a lot of these resources got wasted on something that wasn't really going to pan out because they didn't have a game plan and they didn't know how to communicate. And they really just sort of just burned a lot of resources, and that can hurt. So, but collaboration is good. It can get you in the door so you wouldn't get on your own. Like for instance, I'm meeting studio engineers and they're getting me in the doors that I probably wouldn't have tried to get on my own unless I had met them. And same thing with the gigging. I don't think I would have been doing so many gigs if I wasn't open to collaboration, if I wasn't open to sit in other people's programs. And sometimes you got to be watchful of that because other people's programs can get you into situations that you're not comfortable. And, it's kind of leaving you confused. And yeah, you might be making money on a gig, but if you're not happy at the end of the day, it's not something that you want to do on a regular basis. So it's very important to be sensitive to that environment, sensitive to that situation. But yeah, collaboration is definitely a great tool to use, and it takes time. And the scary thing is going into talking about being an introvert. When you're an introvert, you really like to stay to yourself. You like to do your own thing. You don't feel like bothering people. People can be messy. People can be bothersome. People can be sort of troublesome. You don't. You've been through enough where people sort of done things negatively to you, or you've had a lot of negative experience, or you just like to keep yourself. And there's a part of me that I have parts of me that kind of rip me apart. Like there's a part of me that really likes to stay to myself, and that's like my default. But then there's a part of me that like says, "Hey, I've got to meet more people. I've got to connect with more people and make more connections every day. I've got to do that. I've got to do that." And it's a cuss and tug of war because the default is to stay to myself. But there's a part of me that sometimes that yearns for that connection, that yearns for that collaboration, that yearns for that thing. Thankfully, I have a large body of work on YouTube and Instagram to show that I can do these things, and then people say, okay, well, I would like to feature or hire you for this job, or I would like to buy this beat from you because I see you know what you're doing. I like what I hear. I'm in the market. Let's talk, right? So being an introvert does sort of hurt. So my suggestion for introverts in the whole collaboration field is to start creating content. It's a content world. I'm just trying to tell you. I try to tell people this all the time that if you want people to see you for work or anything like that, you have to have a body of content. I keep telling people this, and it's like the number one thing I don't see people do. Who have expressed interest in moving their careers forward is to have a body of work or content, just stuff like that. And what I'd like to say is that if you're an introvert and you're looking to collab or you like to meet people, create content of you performing or showing what you can do. If you're a carpenter, then have videos of you building stuff. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like I'm just firing up my camera and recording right now. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you're a singer, if you like to sing, then you should have lots of videos of you singing. It's very simple because people can look at that and say, okay, I like this, I like that. And so what happens is that now when people find you on these platforms, because they're going to find you, they're going to, as you build your catalog up, more and more people are going to have more opportunities to find you. And as they do that, it shows that, okay, I offer this. So if I'm singing, then I should have videos of singing. If I'm making something, a product that I want to sell, then I need to have videos of me making that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. The background doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to show people what you can do. And it's very easy for any introvert to just sit the phone up, put on an app, and hit record and sing a song or perform something. You could definitely do that. And then another thing that introverts will probably have to do is get out of their comfort zone, hit the scene, go to where the open mics are, go to where the events are if there are any, or just go to a live concert and get some of that energy. Go to that live concert, get some of that energy, go places, just be places. And I know it's still a COVID situation right now. And even though that may be true, a lot of people are just wanting stuff to be open. So go places, be places, do things. You will benefit from it. You get some of that energy. I know one thing is that when you find an open mic that you frequent a lot, what happens is if you keep going to that same open mic or that same jam session, work comes out of that. I mean, it's just automatic. I could tell you from Club 291 that I was going to and singing and perform right here in the city that led to the relationships that now get me gigs. But in the beginning, it was just me checking something out and saying, okay, yeah, I could do this. I could jam. But after a while, you start to develop a skill. You start to develop your singing skills. And people say, okay, I can use this for my showcase, or I could. So it takes being outside your comfort zone. This is a great place to create, but it's not. But it's just one piece of the puzzle. It's just a glass half full. The other half of the puzzle is that you take what you create and you put it out there. You put yourself out there. And touching on this before I go, because I think it's very important. So you have to really be in a position and place where you accept who you are as a person. As I wrap this up, you have to accept who you are as a person. And, for a long time, part of me didn't accept who I was as a person creatively because I didn't see certain things from certain people in my life. I didn't see certain acknowledgement of what I do. I didn't hear about it from them. I didn't get compliments. And it's like, and looking back on it, I shouldn't have needed that, but sometimes you can have default settings in yourself that you did in place that make you interpret things or internalize things that you shouldn't. But I'm here to tell you today that you could be, if you're a creative person, and if you're the only creative person who's making music or making stuff, that's okay. Embrace that. And don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel ashamed about it. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of internal struggles. And with those internal struggles and insecurities, it makes it difficult for them to acknowledge you doing something good for yourself, or acknowledge you to being creative or something, or you being you. And, today I just advise you to really analyze that and say, hey, no more of that. It's time out for that. Embrace who you are. Embrace your music. Embrace your creativity. Embrace what you're doing, and know that it's enough. It may not take you away from the day job right now. It may not take you out of a situation, but if it helps you, it's enough. And sometimes enough is enough. And if you take your enough and you work that enough, you're going to get more. All right, I'm out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for the next topic and idea. We're going to go from there. See y'all later. Peace out.